değerli konukları var. Phillippe Vangeel, Avere Genel Koordinatörü ve Fatma Kesik. Bu da inovasyon danışmanı Sabancı Üniversitesi'nde. Bugün konuşacağımız konular arasında Avrupa Birliği Green Deal, YEŞİL Deal ve elektromobilite. Biz Avrupa Birliği ve araştırma geliştirme fonları, yatırım projeleri, şeylerini, imkanlarını burada iki tane değerli arkadaşlarımızla konuşacağız, değerlendireceğiz. Philippe'i tanıştırmak istiyorum. Philippe, Avere'nin genel koordinatörü, biraz evvel dediğim gibi. Yaklaşık 3 senedir bu görevi aldı ve 3 senedir kendisi de mühendis kökenli, çok büyük değişiklikler olduğunu söylüyor. En son zamanda da tabii bu sektörün Covid-19'da da nasıl etkileneceğini, neler gibi değişikliklere, nasıl hazırlıklar yapacağını biraz anlatacak kendisi. Fatma Hanım da esasında o da kendisi SMU dediğimiz Small Medium Enterprise, SME dediğimiz ufak orta ölçekli işletmelere yaratıcılık, yani Avrupa Birliği'ndeki bu fonları startuplar dahil olmak üzere nasıl bu fonlara erişebileceği, ulaşım sektörü de dahil olmak üzere kendisinden tecrübelerinden paylaşacak. Fatma Hanım, siz kaç senedir Sabancı'dasınız?
Ben yaklaşık 2,5 senedir
2,5 senedir. Evet, çok güzel. Şimdi bu bir saatimiz var esasında. Biz bu konuda arkadaşlarımızın konuşmalarından sonra soruları açacağız. İstediğiniz soruları sorabilirsiniz. Unmute yaparak. Ondan sonra da yaklaşık 5 çeyrek gibi, 5.30 gibi kapatacağız. Okay. Philip, I just introduced you and Fatma Hanım, and also the scope of our discussions here. So I discussed briefly how the process is very dynamic. Also, what you want to talk about is the latest innovations for Avere in EU. Also, what's happening with the COVID-19 situation as to the Avere's position and the future of e-mobility. So I'd like to give you the floor, and then we'll ask questions, and I'll ask Fatma to join. Thank you very much, Philip.
Okay, thank you. I will start to share the screen. Is this visible?
If you make it a bit bigger, yes. Yes. Yes, excellent.
So thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to give our contribution on your local initiatives. I'm very pleased with these activities to see around the world. Small background of our association. So Avere is already active since '78, and our founders were mainly academic people. In the late '70s, the world was confronted by the first oil crises, and it sounds a bit strange. 40 years later, a bit more than 40 years meanwhile. Oil crises. Who could imagine that at that time? But it caused a lot of price shortness on the market, and our founders were really looking for the alternatives. So is battery solution feasible? Is hydrogen, fuel cells, all the possibilities? And it's from that start point that our association has been growing. So today we are a quite big network. We have 21 members. We're under Avere Turkey, present in different states, and we have the unique point of our association is that it's by the nature of our members that we have the industry on board. By some countries are mainly industry organizations, but we also have the end users as members. So the good example is France and Spain, for example, that are typically associations that represent the industry, also big car manufacturers. But for example, Norway, little industry present, but they have an organization that represents EV users, which is one of the biggest of the world today. So gives us a unique opportunity. So, EV markets in Europe. So what is happening today? I'm reusing the EAFO. EAFO is standing for the European Alternative Fuel Observatory. We are a partner in EAFO, so we contribute with this data. And this is the actual situation. So what do we see here? That 2020, beside the COVID situation, didn't slow down in the new share, in the new registrations for 2020. So it's going up. We are very happy with this. There is no stagnations to see over here. What are the top countries? I mentioned Europe. It's not European Union in this case because I included the EFTA countries, Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein, but also Turkey is in this statistic. So you can also look limited on the statistics of Turkey on the AFO website. So the number of alternative fuel cars, in this case electric cars, the biggest share, is indeed in Norway, followed by France, Germany, the UK, and the Netherlands. Norway, please, they're number one, but also keep in mind it's a small country, 5.5 million citizens. So today the sales that I have is about 50% is electric already, which is a huge amount. It's remarkable also because they do this already for many years with a little offer. There is not a huge offer of EVs that people can choose, but they still want to go for it. Why is there a biggest success? It's about policy. Policy on the longer term. They made a plan that they kept valid for about 12 years, if I'm correct. And the plan was immediately, the more your car or your vehicle is polluting, the more taxes you pay. The cleaner your car is, the less taxes you pay. So you get quite nice incentives beside the taxes and VAT even. But also some extra efforts in the beginning to set it up. Free toll roads, free parking, free ferries in their case. But that meant also that, for example, the Volkswagen Golf car, the diesel or the benzene version compared with the electric version was cheaper thanks to this policy. So that made actually one of the big success stories. What is the general market share? We see that there is a major shift going on. So now the battery electric vehicle is 4.1. The orange is plug-in hybrids, still growing as well. Might become less popular by the policymakers because we cannot control what's going on with the plug-in hybrids. So you can buy it for policy reasons, tax incentives, etc., but we cannot see what's happening afterwards. You can say, I don't care, I never will connect my car to the electricity, and I just drive on petrol. So there you see a remarkable change, and you see also that this market is going down in a way. I mentioned already the EV market in the post-COVID situation. These numbers were still in the beginning. They deserve an update, but it's just a short view on some countries through the world. And the good thing is the EV market is the light gray. And we saw compared with the other years that there was a slowdown. In some countries, it was even an uptake of sales. And the biggest slowdown in growth was on the internal combustion engines. So that means that people are going out nowadays to buy a new car. They have a big commitment to buy this electric vehicle. And also when they enter to the showroom or the car dealer, they know in advance what they're going to buy. They're really aware from what they're going to do or what their intention is. Now we have already some updates. Now we are June already. It didn't change so much. The EV kept its popularity. It's remarkable, and we are happy to have these insights on this. I have a short data from the Turkish market. from very little cars, electric cars in the beginning. Also, there we see that it's growing. It's not big numbers, but you see that the interest is growing. You see, yeah, there is a market potential coming up as well. And you're not exceptional. It's not that it's all over Europe. It's success stories. No, there is also countries. I compare often with Greece. The Greek probably will hate me meanwhile. But they only have 4 fast chargers in the country. Very weird. And the numbers of EVs is even lower. Maybe it has changed meanwhile. But also there now policy is planning to do some updates. The good thing is when you charge your car, you need electricity to charge your car to get around. We know that the grid, the electricity is becoming greener. So brown coal mines are closing down. The nuclear plants are going, have not won in popularity. On contrary, they will close down as well. And we see a significant growth in the biomass, but better on solar, wind, and hydro markets. So that means that each year you drive your electric car, it becomes greener. That's remarkable. Besides all the efforts to have lower CO2 emissions, we found out that 2019 is not yet available, but we went down and we had a lot of efforts and suddenly we went up again. Probably it has been the change with or close to the diesel scandal. People were shifting suddenly from diesel to more petrol, but petrol cars emit more CO2 emissions. So there was a slow race ago. Yeah, then the question is, what is the best transition scenario for getting to zero emission fleets? So there's different points of view. There is a lot of studies. You have, depending also from who the study is coming, but we know actually if we want to get zero emission by 2050, so following the COP21 standards, the famous Paris Agreement, around 2031, we actually should go for sales of 100% electric vehicles, knowing that the average car will last about 16, 17 years. So there is a certain point of view that we need to turn over. Good thing is that there is more EV models coming on the market, and this is growing significantly. Also from 2020 to 2025, yeah, like I mentioned before, now we had 10, 15 models coming slowly. Full electric vehicles will be significantly growing. And it also has to do with the price. We expect that the price will go down as well. And this has mainly to do with the battery. What do we need as well? Oops, is more charging points on the streets. This is purely and only fast chargings, so above 22 kilowatts. In theory, it's above 50 kilowatts. So also there we see that this is going drastically up and higher. Do we need so many as we need petrol stations? No, because in many cases people can also charge a car at home or at work, which we know from the success countries like Norway, that this actually is mostly the case. Above 80% of the people charge at home or at work, and the rest is the opportunity charging. When they go to their cottage, when they travel, then they need this network of fast chargers. A small word about the fast chargers. So, like I mentioned, the standard of today, no, it's not today anymore, from a few years ago was 50 kilowatts. But that meant that it took about 50 minutes, depending the size of the car, depending the size of the battery pack in your car. But Roughly 50 minutes is, in my opinion, not fast charging. I don't know whoever got the idea to call that fast charging. 50 minutes in today's world is really slow. So what you see now, that there is also upcoming 150 kilowatt standards and 350 kilowatt standard charging. So 350 kilowatts charging, that means that your battery is charged in 7 minutes. This is remarkable. This is already very acceptable. Make over a stop, drink a coffee, 7 minutes will pass pretty fast. Just be aware, it's not meant that this fast charger is available, that your car automatically can take it. It depends on the technology that you have on your car. So the first car that is in production that can reach the standard today is the Porsche Cayenne. Also, Tesla has their own standards, but they don't reach the 350 kilowatt. But this is good. This is going progressively higher. This is, of course, the charging time and capacity is linked with the battery technology. So the better battery technology, the better charging times that we can have. And we expect a radical change in the coming years. So we see the biggest expectations are for solid state batteries. That means higher energy density, better charging times, and better guarantees. Keep in mind that already today there is cars coming on the market where they give warranty on the battery for 1 million kilometers or 10 years. This is significant in the market, never seen. So we are very happy to see that this is happening. In the very, very near future, we expect also that batteries have no problem to last for 1 million kilometers and have an average capacity from 600 to 700 kilometers. So yeah, the only thing that we are waiting for now is price parity. And that is also happening. We see now about $94 per kilowatt hour. We are coming very close already to that. And $62, which is here forecast by Bloomberg last year, will actually happen faster. Tesla has now developed a new battery technology that they're going to announce shortly. And they're close with that, very close. So the price parity that is expected by 2025 for everyone could be achieved much faster. Charging infrastructure can also have an update. Some people think that the cable is quite annoying. We'll see what it brings. Also, it depends on your needs. We really don't need all a smartphone. Some people are still happy with an ordinary phone that they just can't call. So it also depends on your needs. Wireless charging could be an opportunity for trucks and buses. The charging that comes from the roof side is also possible. What is crucial in our sector is data. It's going that fast every day. So if you use data from 5 years ago, it's outdated. But there is still a perception from many people that lives that a car can only do 140 kilometers with one range, that after 4 or 5 years the battery has to be changed because it's outdated or maybe dead or not energy capacity enough. Yeah, it goes really fast now, so be aware, use data, I would say maximum 2 years, and even that, yeah, consider us outdated already. Wait, that was one too fast. So here we are. So what actually, yeah, what caused all this happening? This reasons for change. We don't change to an electric car for the fun, even though the car driving an electric car is much fun. So a lot of power that's present everywhere or all the time at least. Yeah, we had the diesel scandal. We start to realize that what you drive around is not correct, and we have been fooled for many years. In the catalog it says your car consumes 5 liters per 100 kilometers. It never happened. It's really strange because we also accepted it all the time. Yeah, the diesel scandal caused that, yeah, the original test, the NEDC test, to say how much the car is really polluting, is now changed to WLTP. So stricter regulations, it's more real measurements that is happening. And it's also linked with new targets. So by 2025, the average production of the OEMs must be 15% lower, and by 2030 it should be even 30% lower to compete with 37.5% in total. So we know that with internal combustion engines we are reaching the limit. It's not possible to do this anymore. Why is this happening? It goes faster than I want. The impact on the car manufacturer is quite big. And it's really strange. They know already that this CO2 emission standards was coming for some years now. And they have to pay fines. And it's not because you have one electric vehicle in your showroom or producing that you're fine. No, they're looking at really the average production, the total production, and of that, the average CO2 emission. And if it's that not reaching the standard, you pay a fine per produced car. So here the ranks are put in following order of the fine to pay. So Toyota is the best one, followed by PSA. Some OEMs didn't really listen apparently. But you see on the completely at the red, there is almost 15 billion euros that they're going to pay by 2021 in penalties. Remarkable. If I say to you, you're going to pay a fine of so many billions in the coming 2 years, you can avoid it if you follow these rules. Maybe it could be reacted differently, but okay, so it is. Keep in mind, we are talking about these fines for the European Union. There is a lot of things happening, and this map is now actually completely outdated. I'm not going to say I have to update it every day, but it's moving fast as well now. So I mentioned already, Norway will have a completely ban of sales of internal combustion engines by 2025. And this is happening a bit everywhere. The Netherlands is 2030, but it's not only countries, it can also be regions. We see countries with low emission zones, Spain, car-free zones for Madrid, Paris, no diesels allowed anymore by 2025, a ban on 2030. This is happening all over the world. So exciting times, certainly when you are in the manufacturing world. Short word about European Green Deal. It was announced by the European Commission, the new European Commission that got installed end of last year. So they indeed want to have 13 million EVs on the market by 2025, 1 million recharging points. Is this enough? We don't know. There is countries that have now even higher ambitions. The Netherlands is very progressive. Now, recently, last week, Germany, France are joining these plans. Some countries are still deciding. United Kingdom is talking about it. So we will see. It's happening. European Green Deal. Now COVID, can it go along? And the Commission already answered on this meanwhile. Yes, they will go along with the plan and they will even be more ambitious. Because we saw with this post-COVID situation, no CO2 emissions, less pollution, better air in the cities. We saw the advantages, what it could be. It was a positive point with a negative situation. So there was, for many politicians, but also for the citizens, for the people in the street, to go along with this idea. So it is indeed happening. I will talk a bit shortly about the potential of the e-mobility. From their side, we want clean mobility, but we don't necessarily want more mobility. So we see cars also being connected, autonomous, shared, and the last point, of course, electric. And I have a very good example, which was in an Interreg project that we shared, is the Amsterdam Arena. It's a football stadium that was built recently. Typically on a football station, they need a lot of power when the football game is going on, and then it's finished. So they have been thinking, instead of asking a huge grid connection, a huge electricity connection to power the stadium for 3-4 hours in the evening, I'm not going to say once in a while, but it's not every day. They said, if you put solar panels, if you put battery packs, so the second life batteries that are coming out of old EVs, that could be a very good storage solution. So they have 3 megawatt power capacity in batteries, which is delivering the electricity during that evening. And beside that, they're using also these battery packs when there is no football games, when there is people coming at home in the evening in the Amsterdam region, where they all start to cook and maybe heat and put kettles on, then you have an electricity demand, and these battery packs can answer on this demand. Now we go to the next step, and that's indeed vehicle to X, vehicle to grid. I don't going to go too much in detail because there's a lot of things to say about it. But this means actually that you can charge your car when there is a lot of sun. There's many countries that don't use enough this opportunity. A lot of sun in the daytime, but maybe not when you need the electricity. So what can you do? You can actually charge with the solar panel or the wind energy towards your car. Can happen in the daytime when your car is standing at work, when it's not in use, unfortunately. But when you come home, you can connect your car to your household, and you can start to use your battery pack from your car to supply the energy to your house. So this is a lot of advantage that is growing, but it can be at your business case, a parking lot, and this is how we're going to solve the demand of electricity. So I say criticizers that say, oh, but we're going to need a lot of more electricity to charge all these cars. No, the car will be part of the solution. And where we have seen now through Europe that there is windmills. You cannot plan when the wind is there or when the sun is shining. Take the opportunity to charge these cars, and we're going to go to a model that even that you connect your car, that they're going to pay you to charge your car, or that you can charge your car at a lower price. Vehicle to X or the vehicle to grid market is still a technology in development. It's maybe a negative point, but keep in mind it's going fast. We are reaching the date. Until now, only the CHAdeMO standard is the standard that can take this technology. The other standard, the CCS, is planned for 2021 or 2022. I'm not sure about the date now anymore. So until now, this famous vehicle to grid situation is only CHAdeMO, which is linked to the Japanese standard, which well accepted in Europe, so it's not a problem. There is the business cases, but there is a whole value chain of these classical clusters that need to talk to each other. So we're going to need different tariffs for the kind of user. We don't need to invest in the grid because we have not that grid demand. We can make business cases of it, and we will see a full rewarding in the future of this. Also be aware, we mainly talk about passenger cars now, and it's also happening for buses, it's happening for trucks, it's happening for vans. Buses are coming up. That's the first approach. Trucks as well, not in a high capacity, but yeah, we will see it's happening. And this is automatically linked with the battery technology that's in a higher development. it allows to do this indeed. So look forward to that. So indeed, to close off, we have to bring the right message. Just do nothing. That's the easiest way. I'm saying, but it's difficult. It's not possible for us. Oh, we live only in a small town. There is always an excuse for everything, but just do it. Nothing is impossible. That's the right message. It's scalable for everyone. It's achievable for everyone, and with the price parity, which is coming very close, it is possible. Keep also in mind total cost of ownership. The investment of the electric car is higher, of the electric vehicle, it is higher, but the energy cost afterwards, the price that you pay for electricity is significantly lower. Also, the maintenance cost is lower. So what do we see? The old EV challenges to the new EV challenges. Before it was more the question, will it happen? Do we need policy messages with subsidies or not? Is it only about passenger cars? There is not enough charging points. Are we able to build all these batteries at once? Old questions. It's now when, where will be first? Policy got really the insights to get along with this. The price parity is coming. We get more choice, some more market segments, and infrastructure is seen as an opportunity today. So I hope we can achieve the COP21 targets very soon. Also, that we can make it all of us. It's not an exclusive market for richer countries. It should be inclusive for everyone. That's really important. That's important for Avere. So thank you for this. If there is questions or remarks, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, Phillippe, thank you very much. Very great presentation. What I'd like to do is ask Fatma to provide her, her knowledge on the matter, and then we'll be open to questions later on. If okay with you, Phillippe? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks. Fatma, please provide us some information, knowledge on green funds and EU-based funding opportunities in Turkey, based on your knowledge. Thank you very much. Çok teşekkür ederim.
Bir saniyeniz olacak. Şu an sunumum gözüküyor mu acaba?
Evet, gözüküyor.
Tamamdır. Ben öncelikle kendimi tanıtayım. Ben Sabancı Üniversitesi'nde çalışıyorum. Yani ismim Fatma Kesik. Sabancı Üniversitesi'nde inovasyon danışmanı olarak çalışıyorum. Sabancı Üniversitesi'nin yine Avrupa Birliği tarafından fonlanan Enterprise Europe Network ağına dahil olduğu bir Avrupa Birliği projesi söz konusu ve ben de bu proje kapsamında ki hani Enterprise Europe Network dediğimizde Avrupa İşletmeler Ağı bünyesinde çalışıyorum. Avrupa İşletmeler Ağı'nın neler yaptığından, hangi konularda destek verdiğinden birazdan bahsedeceğim. Ben devam edeyim sunumla. Burada yani bugünkü konuyla ilgili olarak aslında Avrupa Birliği Green Deal'ı neden böyle, yani Green Deal, yani yeni yeşil düzeni neden ortaya attı, neden böyle bir şeye ihtiyaç vardı, ondan birazcık bahsetmek istiyorum. Aslında şu anda hani ciddi anlamda iklim değişikliği ile ilgili problemler var. Bununla alakalı uzun zamandır zaten herkesin bir farkındalığının olduğunu biliyorum. Bu yani toplamda yani dünyadaki 8 milyon canlının 1 milyonun bu iklim değişikliği ile alakalı olarak tehdit altında olması, okyanusların kirlenmesi, havanın kirlenmesi gibi konular aslında iklim, yani şu anda yaşadığımız gezegenin yaşanılabilirliğini ciddi anlamda tehdit ediyor. Bu sebeple de Avrupa Komisyonu, Avrupa Birliği bu konuyla alakalı ciddi, geniş kapsamlı bir aksiyon almak istedi. Yaklaşık 30 yıl sürecek olan bir aksiyon, yani Green Deal aksiyonu, yani 2050'ye kadar hedefleri söz konusu Avrupa Komisyonu'nun. Burada en önemli hedeflerinden bir tanesi aslında iklime olan olumsuz etkimizin tamamen ortadan kaldırılması, insanların hayatının iyileştirilmesi, sonrasında tüm Avrupa'daki firmaların dünya, yani bu konularda, yani sürdürülebilir teknolojilerle dünya lideri olması ve genel olarak Avrupa'da kapsayıcı bir toplum yaratma ve bu değişimi, yani bu yöndeki değişimi desteklemeye hedefliyor Green Deal'la. Pardon. Evet, pardon. Şu an görünüyor mu benim sunum Actions for the Climate Neutral EU kısmı? Yani emin olamadım ama.
Evet, gözüküyor.
Evet.
Tamam, çok sağ olun, teşekkürler. Burada aslında yani iklime olan olumsuz etkileri azaltmak için bugünkü webinarın da konusu olan iki önemli konu var aslında. Bir tanesi enerji, bir diğeri de mobilite konusu. Enerji sektörü bu sera gazı salınımlarının yaklaşık %75'ini oluşturuyor ve ciddi anlamda yani iklim değişikliğinde önemli bir etkisi var. Mobilite sektörü de yaklaşık olarak %25'lik kısmı oluşturuyor sera gazı salınımlarının. Bu yüzden burada yani ikisi üzerinde de çok ciddi aksiyonların alınması gerekiyor. Enerji sektöründe özellikle fosil yakıtlardan elde edilen enerjinin oranının gittikçe azaltılması, yenilenebilir enerji kaynaklarının artması ve var olan enerji kaynaklarındaki verimliliğin arttırılması planlanıyor. Mobilite tarafında ise özellikle tarafında, yani karasal ulaşımdaki yükün bir nebze hem raylı sistemleri, sonra deniz ulaşımına ve aslında Avrupa'nın yapısı gereği de içerideki yani nehirler üzerinden aslında bu ulaşımın sağlanması hedefleniyor. Burada şu an sunumu hareket ettirmekte zorlanıyorum, kusura bakmayın. Evet, maalesef. Burada şeyden bahsedebilirim. Yani buradaki Green Deal'la yapılması hedeflenen şey şu aslında. Yani bu değişimi bir nebze hızlandırmak istiyor Avrupa Komisyonu. Özellikle 2030'a kadar bu sera gazı emisyonlarını özellikle ulaşım alanında ciddi anlamda azaltmayı hedefliyorlar. Ve 2050'ye kadar da buradaki hedef %90 civarında. Az önce bahsettiğim gibi aslında hem havaalanlarında hem portlardaki, yani limanlardaki hava kirliliğini azaltmayı hedefliyorlar ve bu kapsamda da gelecek dönemde çeşitli çağrıları olacak Horizon Europe projesi programı kapsamında. Burada önemli olan şeylerden bir tanesi aslında kentsel ulaşımda da özellikle toplu taşıma alternatiflerinin elektrifikasyonu ve buradaki yani elektrifikasyon sürecindeki bu geçiş sürecini hızlandırmayı hedefliyorlar. Bundan bahsedebilirim. Ben evet, şu an git diyorum ama gitmiyor sunumu. Pardon. Burada yaklaşık olarak yani bu Green Deal çerçevesinde Avrupa Komisyonu'nun 1 trilyon euro kadar bir para aktarması planlanıyor. Özellikle Just Transition Mechanism dediğimiz kısım birazdan da anlatacağım. Horizon Europe kısmıyla daha çok alakalı ve ilgili. Burada Invest EU diye bir mekanizma da başlatıyor olacak Avrupa Komisyonu. Şu anda Avrupa Komisyonu altında 14 tane farklı fonlama mekanizması söz konusu, yani yatırım mekanizması söz konusu. Invest EU ile Avrupa Komisyonu tüm bu fonlama mekanizmalarının hepsini tek bir çatıda altında toplamayı planlıyor. Sonrasında ben birazcık şeyden bahsetmek istiyorum. Özellikle araştırma ve inovasyon projelerinin en önemli fonlama araçlarından bir tanesi son 7 yıldır Horizon 2020 programıydı. Horizon 2020 programı kapsamında Avrupa Birliği toplam 4,73 milyar euroluk bir rakamı özellikle transport alanındaki, yani and integrated transport kısmına aktarmış durumda. Yani yaklaşık 1506 tane projeyi, yani 1506 tane projeyi fonlamış bugüne kadar. Ve bunun Horizon Europe'da da yani artarak devam edeceğini tahmin ediyoruz. Ben burada Türkiye tarafına bakmak istediğimizde de, yani birazdan gelecek, biraz geç cevap veriyor, bilmiyorum bilgisayarım neden. Burada yaklaşık olarak Türkiye'de de yani en başarılı olduğumuz alanlardan bir tanesi Horizon 2020 kapsamında transport alanı. Transport alanında da biz yaklaşık 15,87 milyon euroluk bir destek almışız Avrupa Komisyonu'ndan ve burada da en önemli göze çarpan, yani destek alan firma Ford Otomotiv Sanayi Anonim Şirketi. Sonrasında da Tofaş geliyor. Burada SME'lerin de faydalandığını görebiliriz. Özellikle lojik ve bilgi teknolojileri İstanbul'da KOBİ'lerimizden bir tanesi. Burada yani hem TÜBİTAK olarak hem de biz Avrupa İşletmeler Ağı olarak Türkiye'deki firmaların özellikle bu Avrupa Birliği tarafından sağlanan ortaklı projelerle, ortaklı araştırma ve geliştirme projeleriyle ülkemize aktarılan fonun arttırılmasını hedefliyoruz. O yüzden çeşitli organizasyonlar da yapıyoruz. Onlardan da birazdan bahsedeceğim. Şu anda Horizon 2020 kapsamında halen aktif olan çok az çağrı kaldı. Çünkü Horizon 2020 son yani 2014-2020 yılları arasındaki son 7 yılı kapsıyor. Ve yani 2020 itibariyle de kapanacak çağrılar. 2021 itibariyle de Horizon Europe aktif olacak. Türkiye'nin Horizon Europe'a katılımı henüz netleşmiş değil. Halen tartışmalar, görüşmeler devam ediyor komisyonla Türkiye arasında. Umarım hani biz de dahil olacağız. Yani şu an olumlu gelişmeler olduğunu diyoruz ama net bir açıklama yok hani TÜRKSAK tarafında. Bu Horizon 2020 tarafında şu an açık olan bizlerin de başvurup dahil olabileceği, yani Türkiye'den firmaların da başvurup dahil olabileceği bir tane çağrı var. Özellikle Amerika ve Çin'le alternatif yenilenebilir enerji kaynakları üzerine bir proje çağrısı var ve bunun başvuru son tarihi 1 Eylül. Yine Kanada ile bir biyoyakıtlar üzerine bir çağrı söz konusu. Yine elektrikli araçlardaki batarya teknolojileri üzerine bir çağrı var ve bunun başvuru tarihi 19 Aralık son tarihi. Ve burada başarılı olan projeye yaklaşık olarak 10 milyon euroluk bir fon sağlayacak Avrupa Birliği. Onun dışında yani 2020 sonuna kadar açık olan 2 tane ayrı program var. Özellikle SME'lerin başvurabileceği, YEŞİL Acceleratör dediğimiz, özellikle startupların başvurabileceği bir fon programı. YEŞİL Acceleratör güçlü bir fon mekanizması Avrupa Komisyonu tarafından sağlanan. Geçtiğimiz 2019'da yeni bir forma büründü. Burada artık Avrupa Komisyonu firmalara yatırım da yapabiliyor. Yani belirli bir pay alıp firmalardan onlara yani bu pay karşılığında yatırım yapabiliyor ve yaklaşık 15 milyon euroya kadar fon yaptığı firmalar var. Onun dışında YEŞİL Acceleratör kapsamında da 2,5 milyon euroya kadar komisyondan fon talebiniz olabiliyor. Yani hibe talebiniz olabiliyor. Bu program birazcık rekabetin yoğun olduğu bir program. Geçtiğimiz cut-off'larda yani başarı oranları %5, %6 civarında. Çok rekabetçi bir program ama bu programdan herhangi bir şekilde fon aldığınızda ciddi anlamda arkasından daha fazla yatırım alabilme, yani yatırım alma potansiyeliniz de artıyor diyebiliriz. Yani sadece kendisinin getirmiş olduğu yatırım ya da hibe değil, sonrasında çekeceği ya da etkileyeceği yatırımlar açısından da çok önemli bir program. Bunun dışında Fast Track Innovation programı var. Fast Track Innovation programı da yine 3 ile 5 ortak arasında konsorsiyumla başvurabildiğiniz, eğer 3 ortak olması durumunda en az 2 tanesini endüstriden, 3 ile 4 ortak olması durumunda en az 2 tanesinin endüstriden, 5 olması durumunda, yani 5 ortakla başvurduğunuzda da en az 3 tanesinin endüstriden olmasının zorunlu olduğu bir program. Yine burada da aslında teknoloji hazırlık seviyesi olarak 6 ve üzeri, yani Yani bir prototipiniz var ve 3 yıl içerisinde markete götürmek istiyorsunuz bu ürününüzü. Bununla alakalı sağladığı bir fon. Özellikle hani transport alanında bir hani projeniz varsa ya da işte elektrikli araçlarla ilgili bir proje fikriniz varsa bu araçları kullanabilme şansınız var. Aynen. Horizon Europe kapsamında neler olacak? Ben birazcık onlardan bahsetmek istiyorum. Horizon Europe burada 5 tane ana misyonu var. Misyonlar üzerine kurulmuş bir program. Bu misyonlardan bir tanesi kanser, bir tanesi toprak ve gıda güvenliği, bir tanesi yaşanabilir şehirler. Bizim özellikle yaşanabilir şehirler kısmında yani ulaşım alanında çok ciddi yatırımlar söz konusu olacak. Bunun altında dediğim gibi burada sunumda da hani göreceğiniz üzere çeşitli pillarlar var. Özellikle pillar 2 yani ortaklığı araştırma ve geliştirme projelerinin desteklendiği kısım Horizon Europe'un bel kemiği aslında. Burada özellikle Avrupa'dan firmaların Avrupa'dan yani Türkiye'den de eğer biz de Horizon Europe'a dahil olursak bu bahsetmiş olduğumuz health yani sağlık konusuyla ilgili kültür, yaratıcı ve kapsayıcı toplum, güvenli toplumlar, dijital endüstriler ve uzay, sonrasında iklim, enerji ve mobilite konularıyla ilgili olarak programlar söz konusu olacak. Yani çağrılar söz konusu olacak. Bu çağrıların taslak programları üzerinde çalışılıyor. 2021 itibariyle açılacak bazı yani açılacak programlar ve başvuruyu kabul etmeye başlayacaklar. Burada Horizon Europe kapsamında özellikle ulaşım alanında public yani kamu ve özel sektör işbirlikleri söz konusu. Bunlardan yani dikkat çeken şeylerden bir tanesi sıfır emisyona doğru diye hani şey yapabileceğim, çevirebileceğim two to zero ortaklığı söz konusu. Sonrasında cooperative, connected and automated mobility konusu. Driving urban transition to a sustainable future. European Partnership for an Industrial Battery Value Chain. Bir de European Partnership on Zero Emission Waterborne Transport kısmı. Buralarda özellikle yani sektörler arası işbirliklerini arttırmayı hedefliyor Avrupa Komisyonu. Özellikle Philippe'nin sunumunda da bahsettiği aslında burada ICT sektöründen de çok fazla firmanın bu konuyla alakalı projelere dahil olabileceğini söyleyebiliriz. Özellikle iletişim teknolojileri çok fazla önem kazanacak. Hem ulaşım sektörünün dijitalizasyonu yani dijitalleşmesi hem de özellikle komünikasyon tarafıyla alakalı, V2X tarafıyla alakalı olarak çok ciddi anlamda hani projeler olacak. Zaten Horizon 2020 kapsamında da bu tarz projeler vardı. Horizon Europe'da da devam edecek bu projeler. Ben özellikle burada şeyin altını çizmek istiyorum. Şu an bu az önce bahsettiğim ortaklıkların hepsi aday ortaklıklar ve bu aday ortaklıkların hangisinin komisyon tarafından kabul edileceği henüz netleşmiş değil. Önceki ortaklıklardan bir tanesi European Green Vehicle Initiative'di. Buradaki bu ortaklıklara dahil olmak özellikle Türkiye'de firmalar açısından çok önemli. Burada sonunda da göreceğimiz üzere özellikle bu program ya da bu inisiyatif çerçevesinde desteklenen ya da açılan çağrılara %30 oranında üyelerin aslında buradaki fonu kullandığını gösteriyor bu sunum ya da bu slide. TÜBİTAK'ın şu anda kümelere ya da bu ortaklıklara üye olmakla ilgili bir desteği de söz konusu. Özellikle yani bunun çok önemli olduğunu gördüğü için TÜBİTAK, Türkiye'den kurumların, üniversitelerin, firmaların bu ağlara dahil olması önemli. Ben de burada yani kendi üniversitemizi de aslında dahil etmeye çalıştığımız bazı networkler var. Özellikle mobilite alanında da çalışacak akademisyenlerin olduğu üniversiteleri ve kurumları da bu tarz organizasyonlara ya da ortaklıklara üye olmaları noktasında yani tavsiye ediyoruz. Sunum gelecek sonrasında. Evet, ben burada aslında en başta bahsettiğim gibi ben Avrupa Eşitleri da bir uzman olarak, yani inovasyon danışmanı olarak çalışıyorum. Avrupa İşletmeleri de burada yapıyor. İstanbul'da ondan biraz bahsedebilirim. Biz burada sadece Sabancı Üniversitesi olarak hareket etmiyoruz. Sabancı Üniversitesi ile beraber İstanbul Sanayi Odası ve KOSGEB de bizim konsorsiyum ortaklarımızdan bir tanesi. Bu ağ 60'tan fazla ülkede 600'den fazla ofisi olan bir ağ. Ve bizim gibi farklı ülkelerde, farklı şehirlerde çalışan uzmanlarla ortak bir platformumuz var. Bu platformlar üzerinden özellikle ikili işbirliklerini geliştirmek adına bir partnerlik veri tabanımız var. Onun dışında özellikle bu Horizon 2020 gibi Avrupa Birliği tarafından desteklenen programlarda işbirliği geliştirmek adına düzenlediğimiz ikili işbirliği etkinlikleri söz konusu. Bunlar kimisi özellikle yurt dışında olacak etkinlikler için Horizon 2020'dekinde ise bir tane seyahat destekleri söz konusu oluyor ve biz burada firmaları yönlendirmek, bu konuda gerekli danışmanlığı sağlıyoruz aslında. İhtiyaç duydukları bilgi açığını yani firmaların bilgi açığını kapatmaya çalışıyoruz. Onun dışında özellikle fikri mülkiyet hakları, EU'daki yani Avrupa standartları, Avrupa'daki marketle ilgili de bilgi sağlayabiliyor ekibimiz. Özellikle İstanbul Sanayi Odası ve KOSGEB'deki arkadaşlar marketle ilgili, Avrupa marketiyle ilgili herhangi bir veri açığınız ya da bilgi açığınız varsa o konuyla ilgili sizi bilgilendirebiliyorlar. Onun dışında biz firmaların inovasyon yönetimi kapasitelerini arttırmaya çalışıyoruz. Bu kapsamda da projelerimiz var. Şu an aktif devam eden bu konuyla alakalı zaten Sabancı Üniversitesi olarak 2 tane projemiz var. Bunlardan bir tanesi Big Mentor diye isimlendirdiğimiz aslında TÜBİTAK tarafından desteklenen bir proje. Bir tanesi de Innovist diye isimlendirdiğimiz Avrupa Komisyonu tarafından desteklenen bir proje. Bu kapsamda da firmaların inovasyon yönetimi kapasitelerini ölçümleyip 6 aylık ve 1 yıllık olmak üzere bir aksiyon planıyla firmaların inovasyon yönetim kapasitelerini artırmaya yönelik danışmanlıklar sağlıyoruz. Tüm bu danışmanlık hizmetlerimiz firmalara ücretsiz bir şekilde aktarılıyor. Çünkü biz de dediğim gibi Avrupa Komisyonu tarafından desteklenen bir projeyiz. Ve bu proje kapsamında aslında özellikle tüm Avrupa'daki KOBİ'lerin birbirleriyle iş yapabilme kabiliyetlerini artırma noktasında destek olmaya çalışıyoruz. Benim aktaracaklarım bu kadar Cem Hocam.
Çok teşekkür ederim. We have about 15 minutes to ask questions from the audience, and I will ask one question to Phillippe and then one question to Fatma. In fact, I'll ask one comment to Phillippe. Phillippe, you said things move very quickly, and you've been there for 3 years, so you're still there, right?
Yeah.
That's good to know. One of the things that is of interest is you indicated that the diesel scandal is now making a very stark impact on saying that we cannot go on with, as we did before, with these cars because we can't meet the, it's going to be more difficult to meet the emissions. Do you think that, and this has been going on for 10 years, I think, right? This, this falsification of the diesel. Do you think if people were, and you're saying, listen, despite everything, these guys are looking at paying $15 billion of fines, right? That's what you said. Do you think if people were upfront 10 years ago and says, listen, we can't do this, these are too strict, do you think the electromobility agenda would have moved up or be that we are now?
Probably yes. I think e-mobility would come along anyway somehow, but it has been upfront on the agenda, that's for sure.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, it's interesting because the two things that benefit, one is big oil that benefits this being pushing forward, and the car manufacturing.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is we're seeing these companies that they are slapped on the hand, here, give me some money and this, and they're still going to be around to produce electrical cars, despite all the damages that they've done to the environment. I find this very almost double standard. You know, these guys should be pushed in the back somehow in this race for electromobility because of their lack of integrity, besides paying some money. This is my personal opinion.
I understand your reaction. We also had, or my predecessor had also difficulties. Which message do you have to bring? Now, on the other hand, you could indeed say, put on the finger, oh, you should not have done this. Right? They suffered a bit of this situation. On the other hand, there was also the first place to give the right answers on this. They have its technology companies. They could also find the answers, and they are able to do it. In the beginning, they struggled a bit, but you see now, if I'm allowed to talk about brands, Volkswagen has a really straightforward plan to go zero emission all over the fleet, and it's a plan that is already existing now for 2 years.
Yeah.
And with a forecast for 15 years.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, you know, the scandal was found in the USA first and not in the EU, which is also quite interesting in my mind. You know, if it hadn't been for the Americans, this thing might have gone on for some time. And you're also trying to promote $1 trillion, the EU, to you know, for electromobility. Anyway, it's a whole new discussion to go.
But what's probably that scared the most of was that CEOs got in jail. So
yeah, but you know, they're there for.
A fine is one thing, but losing your freedom.
Yes, but you know, we can talk about that as well. Fatma Hanım, thank you very much for çok teşekkür ederim. Very, very interesting thing. Do you think that green ports, you know, in Turkey, there's this. We have railroads, we have roads, but we also have a very important, which are the ports. And he is a big transition company. We have lots of railroads coming in, and ultimately, to increase our exports, imports, we have to have connection, physical connection between the ports to the railroads as well as the roads. But ideally, we need to have interconnectivity between the trains and the ports. Do you think that there is some interest in the EU? Okay, we know about also the port sector, demand, you know, where the physical. Is there a push for greening of the ports? I know that the Ministry of Transportation is looking at it, and there's some green port certification on. But I think that's also something that should be put in the agenda for potential studies and funding by EU and you know, the banks. What do you think that should be a position of the green funds on this aspect?
As far as I know, in Horizon Europe and Green Deal program, there's going to be specific calls regarding greening the airports as well, because airports and ports as well, because they are planning to ban some ships which are making so much emissions, carbon dioxide emissions, and they are trying to, or they will try to green, make more green the ships as well, because most of the ships currently do not care about the emissions, because all the focus has been on road transport or inland transport. So that's why. But in the future, especially in the airports and ports, the European Commission will consider to decrease the emissions in these parts of the Europe.
Okay, yeah, because I know I work on ports. There's a lot of trucks coming in, lifting, loading, and ships coming in and off. So it's a very concentrated area. for emissions because of the various equipment. And there is some push towards electrification and in those areas for carbon emissions decrease.
And I can add something here. Not only the ships and all the operations in the ports and airports as well will be digitalized and will be electrified as much as possible. And the operations itself has an impact on climate as well. So not only the ships or trucks or rails, the operations in managing these transportation modes also will be less climate effect, I can say.
Okay. Teşekkür ederim. Evet arkadaşlar, biraz daha zamanımız var. İki tane çok değerli insan var karşınızda. Onlara hangi sorular sormak istersiniz? Aklınıza gelen bu sunumlar sonunda. Okay. Gökhan Hocam? Okay. A very quiet audience. One of the things, if there are no questions, Phillippe, in this COVID, as we talked about this morning, with COVID impact, we have a real decrease in oil prices. Therefore, that typically the gas pump prices are going to go down for sure in the short term, but maybe also in the long term. And also, we already have some depressed economies and we have a glut of oil. That means that people will be able to afford, potentially, unless taxes rise, petroleum at a lower price, which means that overall cost of driving a diesel car will be lower. Is that going to create some competition with people who may want to buy electric cars versus not? Do you think governments will compensate for this, or what do you think the approach will be?
Well, there's several aspects. Indeed, the price of the oil has been dropped, but it's not because the oil price is dropping, the petrol price is dropping, that you see the price drops as significant at your petrol stations. At least not in our region. So the governments keep this quite stable. Secondly, with the COVID situation, we also saw an overproduction on electricity. So we also saw the electricity prices going negative. So they have asked big electricity users, they have been paid to use electricity instead of being charged to use electricity. If you look at this model, I talked earlier about vehicle to grid and those purposes. This is potentially a future business model. When there is an overproduction, too much wind or too much sun, it could be that we get or a signal you can charge a car on a lower price or maybe for free. I think it's a shame they have been stopping windmills because there was an overproduction. And there we miss charging opportunities. So you see, if this goes hand in hand, then driving electric will still be cheaper.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I never thought about production of electricity being also decreasing the impact of low prices. I see. Okay, that's good. As far as one of the questions also is, I think on a societal level, and I think EU funds should also be looking at it, is the retrenchment aspect of electromobility. In other words, it is great that we're going to have some carbon dioxide emissions getting lower, but it will also potentially have some social major impacts on you know, the business model of selling the material, the gas and this. And one of the things that may have, I think, you know, as there's this major shift in society and technology, we can have certain things like stations, bakım yerleri, so retail stations or service stations that take care of your cars. You know, in Turkey, there's a big sector where you take your cars to service. So one of the things I think could be also potentially in EU funding is look at the retrenchment of, you know, how the society will deal with having more and more cars, electrical cars, you know, on the streets. And that's something that potentially is another big research area, I think.
In my point of view, it's an opportunity. So you know that this is going to happen. The retail sector will still stay. If you stop to charge your car and you would like to drink a coffee, grab a package of chips, whatever, or an ice cream, that will still exist. And that demand is also there. So I don't see any problems on that side. Yeah, and aftermarket will indeed change. Less maintenance, different maintenance. Everybody's aware of it. But then you can also find the answer on this. We have used so much often the Kodak example. Yeah, when the digital camera came, the existence of Kodak was under pressure. And they said, no, it will not happen. Digital will never reach the quality of the classical photo camera. Kodak doesn't exist anymore. All these
BlackBerry's gone. Bye-bye, BlackBerry.
BlackBerry, Nokia stopped. When Apple came with his iPhone, the first smartphone, a phone without buttons. Who wants to have a phone without buttons?
Yes, well,
I don't want to feed the people that have one. But the ignorance is the worst signal you can give. If you know the challenge of your future, embrace the future and find the answers together.
Yeah, I think that's why these funds are so important. In other words, you know, I know there's a storm coming. There's $1 trillion euro funds out there. So, I mean, there's huge opportunities for bright young people graduating from the university saying there's a whole world changing. There's a fund there, you know, there's funding. Let's see how I can benefit from it, because that's the train moving. And I have to get on the train rather than watching the train go. So that's why I think this e-mobility, especially for a country like ours, is also very important to open new untraditional areas for jobs. I think that's also a great opportunity for us and our young students looking at the future.
I can share a small gimmick. When I started with Avere, it's the previous president, and he already had those insights, but his approach was a bit funny. He said, "Oh, when I'm driving around and I see a new car dealership building up, oh, poor people, what a stupid investment," he said. So he was a bit, maybe early stage, but in a way, yeah, Tesla buyer you can buy a car line and you can return it within 7 days. Why not?
Yes. Listen, Phillippe and Fatma, thank you very much for participating in this nice webinar. I think the audience had a good time. And I will get in touch with Fatma with my new thoughts on EU funding and some projects that I have. Phillippe, I wish you a very long position.
Thank you.
And as you can see, you're in an area where you see all these tremendous changes. It's very enviable. And we also see how important Avere is for our our e-mobility here in Turkey. And the numbers are very encouraging. You know, it's almost like exponential change in the number of cars and technologies. So for me, it's very nice to hear this from you and also from Fatma regarding new funding. And I'd like to thank you very much again.
Thank you.
I made something here because of the problems during my presentation. I couldn't mention, but there is an opportunity for especially young graduates. YEİT Urban Mobility is a mobility innovation center for urban mobility, and there are specific master programs and doctorate programs for mobility topics under YEİT Urban Mobility, and they can also have a look on that. And if they would like to pursue career in mobility sector, they can benefit from these master programs. These master programs are, or doctorate programs, they are joint programs of European universities. So it's quite a broad network for urban mobility, and it's quite if I were a student right now, I would definitely try to go and make a master degree in those programs. So it's quite a good opportunity for the students right now.
Excellent, Fatma Hanım. Çok teşekkür ederim. Thank you very much. So I wish you a healthy and happy and safe work days ahead of you. Thank you very much. Take care then.
Thank you.